Welcome back. It's your boy Fresh.
And I'm Mary, and we are a Co-ople of nerds. And today we are bringing back the board game Backlog.
That's right. So this is a series where we look at 6 games, figure out which games stay in the collection and which games leave. We currently have 565 board games and expansions in our collection, and
We're going a little slow.
We need to cut that number down a little bit. Somebody bought too many on Kickstarter. Alright, so the first game. So we are playing this. We call it the board game Backlog because we're playing this from games longest in our collection to the newest. Some of these we've played before. Sometimes this is the first time. Up first, we have The Mind.
Yeah.
So this is a cooperative game. 2 to 4 players. So this is about 20 minutes.
Depending on how quickly you lose, it could be 5 minutes.
So this game, you have a deck of cards that are 1 to 100. Mm-hmm. And without speaking, you shuffle up the cards, deal out however many, depending on the level, what level you're at. So round 1, I think each player gets 1 card. Mm-hmm. Round 2, each player gets 2 cards, etc., etc. And you need to put them in ascending order. So start at 1 and go to 100, but you cannot speak. So the idea is that you read each other's minds onto what card they have and whether or not your card is next.
Really, it's all about who thinks that their card is the lowest or the highest. Like, well, I'm looking at this card. I think there's cards over there that are going to be lower. Mm-hmm. And so you're taking a risk. And
sometimes the first card is just, what was it, like 54 was our first card once. Just how the deck got shuffled, right. You know, there's nothing you could do, and you would never think, all right, there's 15 cards out. 54 is obviously the first one. There is lives in this. It's a cooperative game, so you have a certain number of lives, and then there are like ninja stars where everyone reveals their lowest card.
Yeah.
So to kind of help you get over the hump. And then as you pass levels, you get either more lives or more of those ninja stars to help out. So what'd you think of The Mind?
Not my game.
Not your game?
No.
When this thing came out, you would have thought Jesus Christ himself invented it. Everybody talked about it all the time.
Yeah.
The mind, the mind, the mind, the mind, the mind. You could literally make this on just a deck of cards.
Yeah.
Right? You could, if you ranked the suits, like hearts are the smallest, then diamonds and clubs and spades, you could literally play this on a deck of cards. You don't need all this. Mm-hmm. Now that would only be a 50 card deck, so you have to change the rules slightly, but literally that's all it is. It's underwhelming. I think it's time to let the mind be free. Free your mind.
Yeah. This was never really something that I was a big fan of. I know it was huge for a while. People like to kind of play it as a party game.
Mm-hmm. I only plays 4 though, so I think this is a pretty lame party, and you can't talk, which also makes it a lame. Hey, we're going to have 4 people over. Everyone shut up. It's a party. All right, so that one will not stick around. See, we're getting rid of some already.
The smallest game we have.
Up next, Marvel United.
Yes.
So this is another cooperative game in which... now, this exact entry is just the base game. It's darn good we liked it because we got a whole bunch of expansions. Or if we hated it, we could have cleared out a huge swath of space.
I wouldn't say I loved it, but I did like it. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that was kind of a relief for me was because of how giant it was, I was like, oh, this is going to be a really complex game and maybe difficult to play or pick up, but it actually wasn't.
No.
It was very, very easy to pick up, and it's cooperative, which I enjoy cooperative, and it also plays a million different ways because you can kind of mix and match, kind of like what you can do with the legendary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so and this does kind of play similar. I mean, you have minis, but realistically, if they were tokens or standees, it wouldn't make any difference. There is a board, and you are kind of fighting villains on that board or rescuing citizens on that board. But realistically, it's not like more of like a war game or a skirmish game where you need to like worry about terrain and all that. It's I guess more abstract than those type of games. Like we talked about, we have a whole bunch of characters. I did not back DC United because we have so much Marvel United that skip that. But I'm sure as these expansions come into sort of this board game backlog, there'll be more and more scenarios and different types of things. But one thing I also thought was pretty cool. So you play one card per turn, but then you also get to use the symbols from the previous card. Mm-hmm. And so you can kind of combo off, and that's how you can cooperate.
I thought you could play 2 cards per turn.
No,
just one?
Just one.
Some cards have 2 actions on them, though.
Yeah, right? some cards will have 2 symbols on them.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, we got Mysterium. So this is a game, we got a lot of cooperative games this week. Or this video. We don't do these weekly. I wish we did. I wish we had the time to do these weekly, but we do not. So Mysterium, one person plays as the ghost, and everyone else plays as a psychic medium. And the ghost was killed, and he is giving each psychic their own specific scenario in which how he died. So that's weapon, person, and place. Or not place. Is it place?
Yeah, so it's person. The first one is person.
Yeah.
The second one is location, and then the last one is weapon.
Okay. So very similar to Clue.
Or is it? Yeah.
No,
it's not how they died. It's location.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like the kitchen or the.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
Okay. So Clue.
It's Clue. Yeah. With some very abstract cards. So the cards that he has, right. He's only given so many cards, and he's giving them to these psychic mediums to try and each medium kind of has their own little mystery to solve. So they have their own person, their own location, and their own weapon. And the psychic medium is trying to get each individual person to guess what that is based on the clues that the medium is provided, which are very limited. So it might be, the character on that card is wearing red, and this card has a lot of red on it, and so the medium might give them a red card. Or there's a lot of circles on this card, and that person has a circle watch next to them. Something like that.
Right.
To try and convey the message.
So the abstract art, you're trying to give out those clues, but like Mary said, you only get so many cards in your hand playing as the ghost. So you're kind of limited. Now there's ways to shuffle. I got these little crows that you could shuffle the deck or get some more cards. I liked the game, but I didn't love the game.
I'm not very good at like the whole abstract thing.
Abstract art.
I kind of like abstract art a little bit, although my style is more realism. So just trying to, and it's also, in a sense, you're still kind of also reading the mind of the person who's playing the ghost. So what you might see in a clue, I might not see.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I were to play the ghost, it would be played completely differently.
Right.
As if somebody else was played the ghost. So, I mean, that adds a level of variability to it, but it makes it kind of difficult to strategize.
So, we played this with a lot of different people. We played it with complete non-gamers, and they were lost. And then the heavier gamers, like you, me, the Meeple Society, didn't feel like there was enough meat there.
Mm-hmm.
This game is made for our neighbor, Beth, who is, I would say, a lightweight gamer.
Mm-hmm.
She said this was her favorite game that we've played to date. She's big into art. I think she liked... There is some, like, wagering whether or not the other players are correct. I think she enjoyed that aspect of it. So we are going to go ahead and give them Mysterium. That way, if the urge does strike to play it, it's right across the street.
There you go.
But it's also out of our game room to open up space.
And now they can share it with their friends.
That's right. That's right. Up next, Masters of the Night.
So this game, I think, was a lot cooler when we first got it and first played it a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
But because we've played other games with kind of a similar mechanic, it doesn't have that sparkle anymore that it used to have. But Masters of the Night, I think, is still a really cool game. It's cooperative again, and you play the vampires, and you're trying to take out all of the agents, I guess, that are looking for you, trying to find you and reveal you. And you have, like, you grow stronger the more agents that you kill, and you get, more powers. And then, so the goal, we've lost this game significantly more times than we've ever won it. We won it the one time, which was, we might have won it more than one time, but I remember the last time we played, we finally won it. And it was pretty cool to win, but it's a pretty difficult game. Yeah.
Yeah, so you are trying to take over the city while avoiding detection. There's this veil of secrecy that is really the key to this game. I think the last time we played it, we focused way more on keeping that veil higher than we ever had before. I think sometimes we were kind of... Because, like, the higher the veil, the less agents come out each turn. And that really helped. I agree. I think this game is kind of near and dear to our heart because it's one of our first videos on the channel was talking about this game, and it's one of our more successful videos, so we've only gone downhill since. But so there is an expansion to Masters of the Night that'll come up later in the backlog. It does have really pretty art. I do love that black, red,
really cool.
Black, white, and red art style. So it's fine. It's lost a little luster though.
Yeah, let's see how it goes with the expansion, and see maybe that adds that extra kick to it that we like.
So that'd be, what was it, TBD, to be determined.
Yeah, TBD.
Up next, we got Mice and Mystics. So this is a dungeon crawling game. So you and your comrades were transformed into mice, and you are now trying to save the kingdom, get back to your old bodies. So it's a campaign game, so it's played over several scenarios. You got enemies to fight. It actually has a pretty cool, like the storybook I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The kids didn't really get into it as much as I would have hoped. Maybe it's they're a little too young.
Yeah.
But Mary hates campaign games, and I think she hates dungeon crawlers. I think she hates both of those, and this is both of those. I love campaign games and dungeon crawlers. So if I'm going to keep one...
That ain't it.
I want it to be a really good one. And I'm afraid Mice and Mystics just didn't cut the mustard.
Cut the mustard.
Is that what they say?
I don't know.
I don't think that's an expression.
Never heard that.
I don't think I made it up.
I feel like maybe not.
Maybe I did make it up.
Maybe you did. I don't know.
Maybe we'll catch on. Yeah, I think having so few board pieces, it's weird. It's like sometimes those dungeon crawlers get so big that it almost becomes overwhelming.
Yeah.
And this is definitely not that. But I almost think it's too small, where there's not a whole lot of villains.
It was kind of underwhelming.
There's like 5 different villain types. There's 4 different boards, and they're front and back.
Yeah,
so that helps. That helps a little bit. But if you're gonna build, Gloomhaven, there's 100 corridors and things that you put together and build, and Gloomhaven's a little, maybe slightly too big. But I think I'd prefer slightly too big to too small, and that felt a little too small.
Dice chucker as well.
Big dice chucker. Yeah. There's not much you can do about that.
Yeah. But
at least Gloomhaven, you have cards, so you get to make conscious choices.
Yeah, so it makes it less strategic and more chance-based.
Yep. So that one, unfortunately, will not stick around. Mm-hmm. That was literally 5 cooperative games in a row. Mary really likes cooperative games.
Because I don't like to lose. And if I'm going to lose, I want someone to lose with me.
Speaking of losing, Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Yeah.
I got your number on this one. So this is it's a little bit of, this is one of those games that's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's got worker placement. It has resource management. Mm-hmm. It has tech trees. It has, combat with, sort of computer monsters. I mean, it's everything. It is, there's some hidden information when you go out and, explore and come across a guardian. It's big. And I don't want to say it's big. It's a big board.
Yeah, it's one of those things where once you're in, you get the hang of it.
Mm-hmm. Hard to learn.
It's really hard to learn, but once you get the hang of it, it goes by real quick. And it's fun.
And it has 2 boards, which I really like. So one side is a little more difficult to progress than the other.
I thought it was based on player count.
Nope.
Okay. So
one of them, as you go up that tech tree, you keep getting fear. So it makes that tech tree not as valuable as compared to the other side. But this game is not for new players. We tried it with our neighbor Beth, and we'll be using her for our guinea pig a lot. I think it's good to have a collection that plays for a variety of people. You don't just want a collection for hardcore gamers and then some non-gamer or lightweight gamer comes over and they just got you can't play anything. Like if we only had Lost Ruins of Arnak, Beth would never play a game with us.
No, and I told you she wouldn't like it. And she didn't.
To be fair, her husband thought that she might.
He's a hardcore gamer.
Listen, he should know his wife. That's not my fault, it's his fault. No, it's that resource. It's max. This is maximizing your resources turned up to 11, and you have to think that way. Like every single scrap of resources you need to use as often as possible to really maximize your points. I really enjoy this game. We have an expansion for it that will come later in the series, which I'm excited to try out, see what it adds. I think there's 2 expansions. I think we only got one of them. But what do you think of it?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love this game. Okay. I mean, I lost miserably last time, but
I think we've had some closer games. I think we've had sometimes like that. It almost feels like that if you have a bad turn 1, like you just start off so far behind, it's like it's tough to catch back up. But it's a lot of fun. Really looking forward to the expansions. That'll do it. That's our 6-pack. So we're keeping half of 50%, 3 out of 3. So
yeah, not bad.
That's probably another 4 Kickstarters that we got.
And Masters of the Night is still kind of on the table because we got to play the expansion first.
Yeah, I do like it though. I really love the art. I missed it on our old game room. They came with some posters, and we had the posters hang up on the wall. And they did not survive being taken off the wall. I missed those because those were really pretty.
They were really cool.
All right, well, let us know down in the comments if any of these games sound interesting to you. Have you played any of these? And what do you think of our board game call? And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, Pumpkin. What was that loud bang?
I don't know. The dog, a human, furniture falling. Who knows?
Somebody's always falling in this house. Wonder where they get that from.
Not very well coordinated. I think it's because I got little ears.
Oh, yeah?
I got little ears.
Me too.